I remember exactly where I was. A table at a bar, a Friday night, two couples, a friend of mine and a woman I had been quietly liking for months. I was the nice guy. I paid for dinner, I gave her a ride, I smiled the whole time. I listened to every rant. I was her shoulder, I was her joke, I was invisible. Meanwhile he, the guy who talked loudly, who interrupted, who made cutting jokes, was the one who took her home. That night destroyed me inside. But it wasn't just because of the kiss I didn't give her or the company I lost. It was because of the realization that exploded inside me. The world doesn't reward the good. The world rewards the interesting, the strong, the bold. The world wants those who dare to dominate. And in that bar, I was none of those things. I was the typical product of a society that praises the understanding man, but secretly desires the man who commands respect. I was the boy raised to please, by a mother who told me not to yell, by a school that rewarded those who didn't confront others, by a culture that said be nice while glorifying those who ignored this rule. And the next day, as I tried to swallow my pride and shame, I saw the same guy, the arrogant one, being treated like a king by everyone who used to smile at me. That's when something inside me broke. Or rather, something woke up. I started studying. Not just books, but behaviors, posture, psychology, seduction. And I understood the first truth. The nice guy is the most disposable character in modern society. He is the emotional butler, the receptacle of other people's guilt, the carpet laid out on which others clean their own traumas. And the more he tries to please, the further he gets from what he really wants. To be loved, to be respected, to be seen. And in this dirty game, the nice guy always loses. Always. And that's exactly why the next step is crucial. Because it reveals the fatal flaw that keeps thousands of men trapped in this invisible prison, smiling as they crumble inside. The most common and most destructive mistake a man can make is to believe that being good is the same as being valuable. That his kindness will be interpreted as nobility. That his quiet loyalty will one day be recognized as strength. But the real world doesn't read intentions, it responds to signals. And the signal that the nice man emits is not power. It is submission. He is not seen as trustworthy, he is seen as convenient. He is not remembered as indispensable, but tolerated as disposable. Because in practice, kindness without posture is just an invitation to be ignored. And this mistake is not just individual, it is structural. It arises from deeply ingrained social conditioning, especially in men who were raised without strong male figures around them. The boy is shaped by a female presence, loving mothers, but naturally averse to conflict, who teach the son not to react, not to yell, not to hit back, to be good, to please, to keep quiet. This boy grows up believing that the world works like his mother's house, but the world is a jungle. And in the jungle, naive kindness is an invitation to the hunt. And when this man enters the real world, full of expectations about how things should be, he begins to collect disappointments. He is ignored by women who say they want a sensitive man, but give in to the bold ones. He is overlooked by leaders who value posture and initiative, not blind obedience. He is tolerated by friends who realize that he never sets limits, never demands, never imposes himself. And he begins to feel the bitter taste of something he cannot name, but that corrodes his self-esteem from within. The name for this is silent rejection. The feeling of being present, but never being a priority, of always being the support, never the protagonist. And here's the cruelty. The more he tries to be good, the more he is punished for it. Because no one respects someone who does not respect himself first. Nietzsche already warned, what is good? Everything that increases the power in man. And what is weakness? Everything that is born of the need for approval. True kindness, paradoxically, is only valued when it comes from someone who is also feared. A man who doesn't accept anything, who knows what he wants, who doesn't hesitate to say no. The greatest tragedy of the nice man is not being rejected. It is being rejected by the very thing he has tried hardest to be. And when he realizes this, too late, most of the time, he's already lost the most valuable thing he had, his own identity. But now that this illusion has been exposed, it is time to destroy the second poison, the widely accepted idea that being loved is the same as being good. Society loves to repeat that being good is enough, that it's enough to treat others with respect, Be honest, kind, empathetic, and the world will return that to you in the form of love, recognition, and success. But this is one of the biggest lies ever told to men. Because what this narrative fails to reveal is that, in practice, male kindness without power is perceived as weakness, not as virtue. The uncomfortable truth is that people, including those who preach empathy, are attracted to strength, to presence, to intensity. The woman who says she values a sensitive man rarely gives herself to him. She seeks the one who challenges her, who doesn't put her on a pedestal, who has his own voice. The boss who praises your commitment rarely promotes you for it. He promotes the guy who dares, who knows how to stand up for himself, who makes an impact. The friend who keeps telling you that you're trustworthy is almost never there for you when you need him, because he knows you're too secure to demand reciprocity. The kindness that the world preaches is selective. It's a social aesthetic, not a value structure. It is used as a moral filter to domesticate men, not to exalt them. The good guy in practice is a useful social ideal because he is easily controllable. He does not confront. He does not demand. He accepts. And popular culture, soap operas, influencers, emotional speeches on social media all reinforce this ideal, because a man who does not challenge the system is a man who does not change anything, and therefore does not threaten anyone. But here is the paradox that no one explains to you. The more you try to be good to be loved, the further you move away from being desired. Because true love, the one that inspires respect and loyalty, is not born of convenience. It is born of impact, of contrast, of the tension between what is offered and what is demanded. And that requires limits, coldness, courage to displease. When Ovid wrote The Art of Loving, he was not teaching how to be kind. He was teaching how to master the codes of attraction, how to control the game, how to understand that desire is born of scarcity, unpredictability, strategic presence. Love, as a social force, is built on the perception of value, not on the unrestricted offering of affection. And that's why the man who gives himself completely, before being conquered, is never the man who stays. Culture has trained you to please, but the real game rewards you for challenging. And that's when you need to abandon the myth of universal acceptance and understand the power of strategic toughness. Because the next step isn't to be loved, it's to be respected. And to do that, you need to know what it's like to be tough on the inside, and cold when necessary. Being tough is not about being insensitive. Being tough is about being impervious to the subtle manipulations that try to bend your will. Being tough is about being clear about what you accept, and even more so, about what you will never tolerate. It is not about shouting. It is about being silent with authority. It is not about standing up to everyone. It is about knowing exactly where to give in and where to never back down. Being tough is about developing a backbone that no one can see, but everyone can feel when you walk into a room. This is the brutal truth that no one wants to hear. Respect is born of firmness, not gentleness. The man who is loved by everyone is usually betraying himself all the time. Toughness starts from within, in the silence of the decisions you make when no one is looking. It is waking up early, even when you are tired. It is working out, even when you are exhausted. It is cutting off a relationship that weakens you. It is saying no with your eyes, without having to raise your voice. There is a silent energy that surrounds the man who is truly tough. It's not the strength of the body, it's the strength of presence. He doesn't need to prove anything. He doesn't compete with anyone. He is. And this being carries a gravity of its own. People feel it. The room changes. His gaze bends. He doesn't plead. He doesn't justify. He simply imposes. Because everything about him communicates. I know who I am, and I don't accept less than I deserve. Nietzsche said that happiness is the feeling that power grows, that a resistance has been overcome. And that is the essence of toughness. Every time you endure discomfort, every time you choose your truth over approval, you expand your power. You move closer to freedom. Because the man who doesn't need validation becomes uncontrollable. And that's not just useful. It saves. It saves you from jobs that drain your soul. It saves you from women who only want to control you. It saves you from friends who only seek you out when they need something. It saves you from the mediocre life that many accept out of fear of taking a stand. Toughness gives you back your dignity. It cleanses your energy. It gives you back control over where you put your attention, your time, and your affection. And when you embrace this, something magical happens. You stop chasing, because you understand that nothing that requires you to diminish yourself is worth achieving. You stop trading your worth for acceptance. You start being selective about who has access to you. And interestingly, the more inaccessible you become, the more magnetic you become. The tough man is the one who says little, but each word carries a ton of truth. He doesn't try to be admired. He is. Because he built himself to be. Because he decided that he would never be dominated by the fear of displeasing. And this is where the real transformation happens. When you realize that what most prevents you from being respected is your desperate attempt to be loved. And the truth is that this kind of transformation doesn't come with motivational phrases or promises of universal acceptance. It comes when you decide to stop chasing. When you understand that your presence is too sacred to be wasted at tables where you are not heard, in conversations where you are not respected, in relationships where you only serve when it is convenient. Toughness is the invisible shield that protects everything that is valuable in you. Your energy, your sanity, your truth. And do you know what is most powerful? When you become this man, you begin to inspire others. The same ones who once called you insensitive begin to call you strong. Those who called you arrogant begin to seek your opinion. Those who wanted you to be quiet begin to listen to you without you saying a word. Because when you love yourself enough to be tough, you become free. Free from emotional dependence. Free from the need for approval. Free from the neediness that made you accept crumbs. You become a whole man, not on the outside but on the inside. A man who doesn't need permission to exist.